Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Polygonal Perspective. I'm Ian. I'm joined once again by Serge.
Hey everyone.
Serge, what have you been up to lately? What have you been playing?
I have finished Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare.
Oh,
We talked about how it has its place in the gaming history, and I just thought might as well finish it.
well, you really enjoyed Titanfall, right?
Yeah,
So,
so actually, the thing about that is that I finished Modern Warfare first and then I finished Titanfall. Well, we talked about it last time that Titanfall felt really similar to Modern Warfare 1 in terms of the gameplay and just the weapons feel. I guess it kind of didn't surprise me overall from just after playing that 1 hour. It kind of stayed consistent with the way it handled missions, and it's really a game that is invested in pushing you forward all the time. It just wants you to keep moving, keep following your squad mates. Never mind anything else. Don't stop and look. Don't stop and think. Just keep running, keep following, keep shooting, and really nothing else. I mean, I don't really want to kind of hindsight 2020, right? It's that game came out a while ago, and they obviously did deliberately. But it's definitely you definitely notice that it's a game that's not really bothered about exploring secret pathways, having you collect a lot of things. I think you can collect maybe like some sort of intel. There's like one collectible you can do.
laptop. Yeah.
But apart from that, there's really nothing else like that. You can never like stop and talk to anyone. Everyone's just running forward, shooting, dying, respawning. I think it's funny. I think they do some clever things with NPCs in general, both enemies and your teammates. And certainly when your teammates die, they find all sorts of ways to kind of bring them back. And sometimes it's a bit comical. Like there'll be like a corner or something, or like a small room, and your teammate dies, and suddenly his replacement comes out of there. I don't know. Most of the time it's seamless, but a couple of times I did notice some weirdness with that. There's no pickups, but also no like weapon loadouts or any kind of modification to weapons. You're just expected to kind of pick up stuff from the ground and use it, quite similar to Titanfall.
Interesting, because that stuff is all in the multiplayer, all the customization aspects. So I assume they just felt that it bogged down the pacing of the single-player campaign.
Maybe. I guess, yeah. I mean, it definitely wasn't an accident, right? It was a very deliberate choice to do that. I've seen Titanfall, for example, you have loadouts for robot. At any point, you can switch a different loadout, and it adds different weapons in different ways the robot can behave. But there's no such thing in Call of Duty. Sometimes you can pick up a weapon from an enemy, or there'll be missions where you are asked to use an RPG or some kind of special explosive device, but for the most part you spawn, you were given a weapon, and that's pretty much the weapon you're going to use. Again, it doesn't really get in the way of playing the game or finishing your mission or anything. It just takes away some of the variety that game could have had.
As far as variety, were there any standout levels for you?
Yes, and I think you mentioned that one as well. It's the Chernobyl one in the Pripyat.
Yes, such a good level.
It's a good level, and also for me personally, because I went to Chernobyl and I went to Pripyat, and they really did a good job of capturing the visuals of that place.
Nice.
It's one of the only games I've played so far. I mean, I'm sure like games like Stalker have probably things like that as well, but this game really, they really did their research. I'm not sure if they actually went there, maybe not, but whatever they did, they captured that place pretty well. And even the interiors of the buildings, because you spend a lot of time going through one building to another, into those interiors, and they look pretty nice, pretty realistic. The last shootout in that level over the Ferris wheel, I've been really literally there.
Awesome.
Actually, that level reminds me, because I played this game on the veteran, I think it was called, the highest difficulty level, and oh my god, it literally kind of shaken my opinion on difficulty in games and playing them always on hardest difficulty, because that level is in particular was the most annoying thing ever. God damn it, like that last fight on highest difficulty is so hard. I had to like I think I ended up hiding in like a small metal cabin thing, and then just waiting out, because that fight is you have to just survive for a certain amount of time before the helicopter arrives and picks you up. And it's like on the highest difficulty, it's like, I don't know, I think like 5 minutes maybe, or 10 minutes, and the enemies are non-stop coming at you wave after wave, and I just ended up just hiding in the middle cabin thing and just waiting out the timer, and then once the helicopter arrived, I just did a quick fight with them, and even then it took me a few tries because they just kill you straight away. It does kind of condition you to play a certain way because you're expecting this kind of hard-hitting enemies, but I guess my point is with the difficulty in general is that I like to play on the highest difficulty in RPGs mostly, because in RPGs you have this progression, right? You're getting stronger, and by the end of the game you have all these options, all the stats, all level ups, all skills, that the difficulty kind of balances itself out, even if you chose the highest difficulty in most games. But here you end the game in the same way as you started, so the enemies are just as hard. You don't have any new tools you can use to fight them, so it just stays hard throughout, and it can get a bit tiring. And I'll say this, I finished the game on the veteran, and then there's an extra bonus mission. I don't know if you played it.
I have finished that one on veteran. That took me a long time.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, well, first of all, it has nothing to do with the story or anything. I don't even know who these people are or what they're doing there. I think they didn't really bother in trying to come up with a story with those. They just wanted to have a separate mission that is really, really hard, and for you to like just do like this kind of time attack thing. It's really a short mission as well. You just you board the plane and you have to reach the hostage at the second level. Probably could have done it eventually, but it was the time where I just finished the main campaign on veteran, and there was this last mission, and I was like just tried it like 20 times, and at some point I just put it down to normal and just finished it like that.
I think I remember watching a YouTube guide on how to clear that level on the highest difficulty, because I was playing that game on Xbox, so I didn't have the luxury of mouse aiming, which would be a little bit easier, but yeah, still definitely challenging. I mean, do you feel like playing, because there are some games, there used to be a lot of games, now there are some games where playing it on the highest difficulty was the intention, and quote unquote intention, and the easier mode was something that was added for less skilled players. And I think there are a lot of games now that don't even have difficulty options because they just have the intended difficulty. If it's meant to be a relaxing game, then they're not going to crank up the difficulty. But do you feel like a game like this, a game like Call of Duty, has higher difficulty modes almost as like a bone to throw to players, but maybe having to retry fights again and again almost goes against the spirit of this highly scripted, constantly flowing, pushing you forward sort of game, to have to redo encounters again and again until you get them just right?
Yeah, it does feel like that, and that level wasn't the only one that kind of did that for me. Another one was the last level in the nuclear silo, where there's like a corridor forwards, then you can go left or right, and they all kind of bend on each other. The enemies are in both the left and right corridors, and in the front as well. But in the front there's like boxes, so you're kind of covered from the front. But on the left or right there's enemies, and you can go either left or right. But the problem is that if you turn left, the enemies on the right corridor just shoot you and kill you. If you turn right, the enemies on the left shoot you and kill you. It's like an impossible situation. And obviously, well, it's not impossible, but you have to like use grenades, shooting from like cover, or kind of like from the corner, and use all the tricks you can possibly use to just survive that. And the way that game uses checkpointing is I don't know if I should call it smart or punishing, but do you remember how it works?
It's just you die and you go back to the last spot, but they won't create a checkpoint if it's in the middle of a firefight, right?
No. They won't create a checkpoint. Okay, so first of all, you have a timer in that mission. That's specifically checkpointing in those missions. So if there is a timer and you got to a checkpoint, what the game considers too late to continue mission and finish it, it will not checkpoint you. So what happened there is I finally cleared that area. I was like really happy and nice. I got to the next checkpoint and I thought, okay, this looks like a checkpoint, 100%. I got to the next firefight. I died, and it went and it put me all the way back.
Okay, yeah.
Because I did clear that thing, but I took too long. So once I get to the next thing, the game thought, okay, he doesn't have enough time to finish actual mission, so I'm not going to even checkpoint him. So I understand the logic behind that, but it was so frustrating. So that coupled with the difficulty was really, really rage-inducing. Anyway, but back to your general point on that, I think games definitely need to think about that and make sure that all of these experiences make sense. Something like Sekiro, where it doesn't have difficult settings, it's just difficult. But the difficulty there is such a part of the game that it doesn't even stand out to you. Everything is hard enough and bosses are harder, but then the way you learn about the fights, the way the game expects you to get better is so natural, right? Sekiro doesn't have levels. You can learn some skills and do things here and there, but to be honest, like you get through the game and get through bosses by learning how to defeat them. It doesn't expect you to like level up and come back. It just expects you to learn the encounters and do it that way. So in that way, it's similar to something like Call of Duty, where it doesn't have levels, doesn't have any of that. It just expects you to know encounters, to know where the enemies are. But the problem is that here, the enemies are so deadly on veteran that it's almost like a gamble sometimes. You just need to get that perfect run, and that's how you get past a thing. And that just leaves you frustrated in the end. It's like, it doesn't feel like you've kind of conquered an encounter. It doesn't feel like that at all. It just feels like you survived something that was way overpowered. Obviously this game had like 3 or how many difficulty settings, so maybe they didn't have the bandwidth to kind of designing the encounters in a way that would cater to all difficulty settings. I mean, how can you do that, right? I mean, Sekiro doesn't have the option, so they had that luxury of just saying, okay, this game is this hard, and that's everyone's experience. I don't know, maybe the answer is that you should never have difficulty option. You just make a game that is meant to be this hard if you want it this hard, and then players who want a easier game, well, I guess tough, right? Because otherwise, what do? You have this game where it's like the best experience is meant to be like what, normal, easy, but then what's the point of veteran then?
I think it comes from an era, like I remember playing through this game when it came out and then playing through it again on the higher difficulties, and it's just because it was something to do. Like the game had a lot of content. The game had content in the multiplayer, but there was also just more content in running through the campaign again and again. And maybe I was at the right age and it came out at the right time when that's what was expected of games, that they would just offer a lot of value with things like that. But yeah, I mean, it's not super well thought out. It's clearly a bit of an afterthought. It doesn't add a ton to the experience, and maybe detracts from the experience. I wonder if they still do those in the new COD games, if they still have the higher difficulty levels, or if the higher difficulty levels aren't as extreme as these ones.
Just to wrap it up here with the Call of Duty, I thought variety of missions was nice. I thought that there was a bit of a missed opportunity with your NPC companions, where I really wished I could kind of like order them around or give them just basic commands. Because almost every mission really is you with your teammates, right? So it just felt natural for me to be able to like kind of tell them what to do sometimes. Sometimes I felt it was missing, and sometimes I was like, I just want you, just right there, go in that corner and cover it. and you just have to rely on them knowing what to do. Most of the time that's fine, but there was a couple of times where I wish I could just tell them what to do. It's a game that did a lot of new things, and trailblazer for sure. Like you mentioned last time, that it took a lot of elements from other RPSs and just kind of put them together, right? Kind of similar to what WoW did back in the day. So this you can say that the Modern Warfare did for FPS is what WoW did for MMOs, to be honest. It just took the best things from contemporary games of that time and made something that had a lot of elements from all of those, right? And I can see now the why it became so popular.
So are you going to play any of the other Call of Duty games?
Yeah, I'm going to play 2 and 3 as well.
Okay.
I want to see what they decided to improve or remove or add.
Yeah, well, that'll be interesting, particularly those 3, because well, maybe I won't spoil it. We'll see when you get there.
Yeah. So other than that, I finished the second season of Diablo 4, Season of Blood. There's a news article that I will talk about in the news section that has to do with that. They introduced a bunch of new bosses. You can farm them. New vampire skills, even though I feel like they didn't really, I mean, it's a vampire skills, and I played a druid this season. It didn't really feel that it was a match for my druid to use all these vampire skills, and like there's like a new armor set as well that looks really vampiric, and I don't know, I guess they didn't really, like how can you, like if you need to release one armor set, they're not going to cater to all the classes, right? But it was a bit weird. But I think the bigger kind of, I guess, issue I have is that even though it's just the second season and they're free, so I really shouldn't complain in that regard, but it kind of feels really samey to the first one. They give you a new character, a new NPC that kind of guides you through the quest line, but it's just another bad guy that appears and has, beef with you. And this time it's like a vampire guy who starts turning a lot of people into vampires and tries to take over, and you just you obviously have to beat him up. And the best part is definitely the new bosses and the new vampiric skills and the way you can make pretty interesting builds with your class, whichever you play. But I feel like it's kind of getting to a point where it's really like a quick race to a finish line, and a lot of players get there really quickly.
It's clearing the content.
Yeah, clearing the content. And actually, this is one of the things I'll mention in the news section, because even the Blizzard are saying people are so impatient and they want the new things all the time, and they are giving you these things really easily, to be honest. Like at level around 80 something, I was already was able to solo Duriel, which is one of the bosses they added. That just goes to show how easy it is to just get to where you need. Maybe they are somewhat afraid of people kind of losing interest, or maybe there's some other considerations, but you really don't need to try hard to get a lot of good things, good items, good gear, and get to the end of this content, which is, I guess, has to be one of the goals, right? You have to make sure players see the content you're releasing. You can't get it so hard that most players won't get it or won't see it. That's why with this season, they actually also increased the drop rate of the Uber Uniques. Uber Uniques are special unique items, a tier higher from Uniques. And before this season, they were so rare that almost nobody had them. So obviously, if you think about it, well, what's the point of them existing if almost no one has them? So now they increased their drop rate, so now some people have them. And it just feels like they're still trying to kind of find that middle ground between balance. I guess we'll talk about it in the new section, but I have a bit more things to say about that in general, not just concerning Diablo 4, but in general about what game needs to do to be a game that people want to play, regardless of incentives or loot or anything. But yeah, so finish that, and that's about it for me.
Nice. Well, for me, I haven't been playing a ton of stuff. Though I will say that just the other day, I was down in a beachy town for a concert, and because it's sort of a beach town with a boardwalk and everything, oftentimes, if I have spare time when I go to various places, I like to look around and see if there are any arcades. Usually there aren't, but you just never know. And this time, because it's an amusement town, there were actually quite a few arcades, and I never expect much going into these. But it is always interesting to see what is there. Maybe if you're lucky, there'll be some old game that is well maintained. And I got to say, I was pleasantly surprised. They had Sega's Outrun 2, which is one of the best racing games ever, in my opinion. That's an older arcade game from the early aughts that was still in nice shape and everything. So I played a bunch of that. They had Time Crisis 5. Serge, you probably know Time Crisis, right? The arcade. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, did you know that there was a fifth game in the series that was released in 2015 running on Unreal Engine?
No.
Because they don't advertise these things because, I mean, they're arcade releases, right? I suppose there could be some ads, but the ads would be just look around and see if you can find something in like a 2-mile radius that you could drive to that would have a cabinet. And what are the odds anyone's going to go out of the way to do that? So these games drop with like very little fanfare.
Yeah, I guess how would you even like advertise them? Like it's just
yeah, it's a bit of a waste of money, to be honest. Like I think arcades can put up posters and stuff if a game is coming soon.
Yeah,
but so these things tend to fly under the radar. People don't really know much about their existence, and so many of these games, unless maybe it's different if you live somewhere like Japan that has still a bit of an arcade scene, but in the UK where arcades aren't really a thing anymore, who's going to know that these games are a thing? Same with I played Daytona USA 3. Sega made a third Daytona USA game a few years ago. Not that great. Time Crisis 5 was all right though. And then lastly, I got to play. I'd already played it before a couple of years back, but I got to play the new the House of the Dead game that came out in 2019 or so. Actually, when this came out, I made a trek to the Dave and Buster's in Toronto. I drove a couple hours just to check it out because I'm such a fan of the series. And I ended up enjoying that one quite a bit. So playing it again was really cool.
This House of the Dead machine looks wild. It has like, it's almost like a whole booth thing where you go in there, you pull the blind, like the curtains, and you're like in this dark room playing this game.
Yeah. Now there were two arcades that both of them had this game. So one was this sort of deluxe sit down cabinet with this little curtain to sort of block everything off around you and let you focus on the game. And the other one was just a stand up machine. So they offer them in different formats, which is traditionally been the case. I think all the House of the Dead games have had smaller and larger versions. But this is something that arcades have been doing for a long time now, which is they just focus on stuff that you can't do at home.
Hmm.
So if you think about it, like in the 80s, arcade games that had a joystick and buttons, you can theoretically replicate that at home. I know it's not quite the same if you're using like a Nintendo controller, but it kind of worked. And very quickly, once consoles started overtaking arcades in terms of power, in terms of success, arcade games started shifting over to the kinds of things you just can't do anywhere else. So if you think of these games, two games where you have a driving wheel and a pedal. Some enthusiasts have racing wheels at home, but for casual players, it's still unique to be able to play a game with a racing wheel. With Time Crisis 5, that's a game that it's a light gun, and there are actually 2 foot pedals in this game. So you can switch between the left and right cover. Your character will actually dash between covers. You can get different vantage points in your enemies, which is pretty unique. It's pretty cool. I mean, this is a game, it's the only game I know of that has this kind of format, because they were able to design the game with some bespoke hardware in mind that you just can't replicate at home. So you
Hmm.
can actually emulate this game on PC, or not even. I don't think emulates the word, uh, because these days arcade games are just computers in a box that are running executables. So it's actually more about just going through DRM or whatever. So I've seen people play Time Crisis 5 at home, but aiming with a mouse and clicking to fire is just not comparable to playing this game in the arcade. And it's the same with the House of the Dead. I mean, the light gun feels really good. You've got like rumble in the controller, but then also just the fact that you're sitting down in this machine that was sort of designed. Even just the art on the cabinet, everything was designed specifically for this game. Is just a really cool experience that you just don't get outside of the arcades. Which is why I like making these treks and checking out these games.
So games like Time Crisis 5 or Time Crisis in general, are they only releasing them in arcades nowadays?
Yeah, so the last Time Crisis before this was in, I want to say, around 2005, and they did put that game out on PS3. So back in the day, Namco would sell the GunCon controllers for the PS1, PS2, PS3, and they released a lot of really good light gun games for those controllers. But one of the things is just that arcades pretty much died out, and there was a 10-year gap between Time Crisis games. So Namco isn't putting out these games, so they're not making controllers. They're not putting these games out at home, really.
Every time I'm surprised that anyone is still even bothering with releasing anything new for this, right? There's a Mario Kart thing, the new House of the Dead. You mentioned 2019, right? Right, that's pretty
Yep.
new. Was it like got a pub and an arcade combined kind of place, or?
The barcades are popular for classic games. You'll find a lot of they play off of people's nostalgia, right? People who are old
Hmm.
enough to drink, they want to play games that they remember from when they were kids. Whereas these were sort of, actually they were half casino, half arcades.
Hmm.
They had like penny pushers and some slot machines for the adults, and then for the kids they had a bunch of, they had a bunch of I mean, there's a lot of bad arcade games out there too. A lot of like ticket redemption stuff, the UFO catch, like the claw machines, any game, pretty much any game by Raw Thrills. Um, I have some enjoyment playing Raw Thrills games, but it's actually really interesting. If you ever get the chance, I implore you to check out any games developed by Raw Thrills, because they're one of the last Western arcade developers, and you can feel it in the design of their games that they are all spectacle and no substance. They are racing games where everyone gets a photo finish. The last 5 seconds of the race are all that matter. The rubber banding is so strong, because they understand that nobody is here to play and master and really sink their teeth into these games. These games are 10-minute distractions at the movie theater while you wait for the cinema to start. They are 5-minute distractions while your parents are playing slot machines or penny pushers at the boardwalk, right? So they don't really invest into the design of these games. In fact, actually, no, I would say that they actually do invest in the design of these games, but they make them as showy as possible, make sure everybody has fun, which is a little bit sad, but that is sort of reflective of where arcades are, at least in the West. And maybe these games are good. I think these games are good, and these games exist. The ones that I was playing the other day, because Namco and to a lesser extent Sega still own arcades in Japan. They still operate arcades, so they occasionally, at least, need new games to get people going to their own arcades.
Yeah.
And because of that, they're still going to design games around the approach that players will keep coming back to those games and want to sink their teeth in and want to find more substance there. So playing the new House of the Dead, it felt like the same as the other House of the Dead games in terms of design. It wasn't like they had simplified it.
Is that it for you then?
That's it for me.
All right, let's see what's new in the industry then. So going back to the Blizzard stuff, like I mentioned, there was an interview with Mike Ibarra, who essentially said that players have no patience and they want new stuff every day, every year, every hour, and they're trying to react to that and still keep the quality high. They also recently announced the triple 3 expansions for World of Warcraft in one go. I guess they're kind of combining them into one story, so that's why they did it that way. But they do feel like they're pretty much coming out every year, or more or less. So, is that kind of reaction to players getting bored with WoW maybe as well? And I feel like it kind of bleeds into Diablo 4, even though it's such a new game, right? Like I was saying, there's the new season comes out and everyone kind of gets to the end of it really quickly. And I was thinking of what would it take for a game to have this staying power without relying on this kind of relying on loot to kind of keep players interested, right? And I think, in my opinion, is that the core gameplay loop has to stand on its own, right? Games like Counter-Strike, Dota, the games that offer you a gameplay that's so interesting that you just want to keep playing it, even though you're really not getting anything out of it. Obviously, these days that all of these games have skins and other achievements, but back in the day, you really don't get anything apart from just the enjoyment of playing the main game, right? And if that gameplay loop is fun and interesting enough, that's all it takes. And I feel like Diablo 4 is getting to a point where it's like the game is fun, right? But it's pushing you so hard to that loot, right? And the loot is the main goal. And when the loot is main goal and you get to it, what do you do next? What do you do afterwards? I tried doing some PvP. They really don't balance it with all the classes. So you get like overpowered classes in PvP, like the Rogue right at the moment and Barbarian. And it just doesn't, it's not really fun. But that's one of the things that could have made Diablo be fun at any point, right? Season, no season, if the PvP is strong, that content is endless. There's always people that are willing to fight you. And unfortunately, that's not what Diablo offers. And I'm a bit worried. I'm also kind of, I guess I'm just dreaming of a game that is Diablo-like, but kind of goes back a bit, back to like maybe the first Diablo, where it was a much slower game, and it was more about exploring this deep, dark dungeon and being careful where you go, who you fight, as opposed to this mad dash to loot. Like I got with my druid to a point where I was killing these bosses so fast that it literally takes like 5 seconds with some of the bosses, because it gets so overpowered. You get these cookie cutter builds, min-max yourself so much that you are so overpowered and you just blitz through everything. And yeah, I guess it's just, I guess I'm dreaming of a game that it will never be Diablo anymore, but maybe something like Diablo that kind of makes you be a bit more cautious, makes you explore a bit more, makes you kind of absorb this atmosphere of dark and scary dungeons. I don't know. I haven't played Diablo 1 that much, and it's been years, but I think I remember that game being pretty much like that.
Sounds like you've got to play some Diablo 1 because I really like that game. And I did like 3, but I agree. And I feel like I prefer the feel of the first two. That with each game, I will say, even going from 1 to 2, that Blizzard sort of pushed it further away from being a roguelike into more of an action RPG category.
Mm.
And I think that's here to stay. But I think you raise a good point that the pace and maybe encouraging, in the other Diablo games or the early Diablo games, encouraging players to experiment a lot, and even just having like throwaway characters, because there really is the sense of permanence with each character in the first Diablo games, that you had to try things on some characters before you could even think about min-maxing and playing at like a very high level. That required many playthroughs to just build the knowledge, unless you wanted to pull up the wiki all the time. And that's certainly one way to do it, but I don't think Blizzard will ever go back to that kind of style of play anymore. I mean, if you had permanence on a Diablo 4 character, that would just feel terrible, because these characters are meant to last you hundreds and hundreds of hours. I mean, famously, Diablo 3 doesn't really have any permanence in your character building. It all comes down to your gear, right? Which can always be changed.
Yeah, I mean they're not going to go back to that, obviously, but they still have things they can do, and I just wish that further seasons would tell an interesting story, like have my player go on a heist somewhere, have introduce finally the familiars, do something else other than what the first two seasons were, which is like some sort of menace on a map. You have to farm the hell out of it, and just a mad dash to the loot, and really forgettable characters that barely have anything to say or anything interesting to say. So something else. I'm hoping that will go that way, but we'll see.
I think especially these days, players are more ravenous than ever, and I think Blizzard might be playing a losing game where people are just going to get fed up with the pace at which content is coming out, and they're going to move on to something else.
What else is new, Ian? What's up with the Steam Deck?
What is up with the Steam Deck? There's an OLED version coming out.
Yes, Steam announced a new Steam Deck OLED version, and I don't know. I might get one at some point. Ian, you have quite a few handhelds. Would this be something that you would be interested in kind of playing older games, or even just some of the Steam games you have?
I mean, I have a Nintendo Switch, and I feel like the Switch covers a lot of ground. Most games that I want to play aren't something so powerful that I need a high-end machine where I'm desperate to play on the go. I think it's cool that the Steam Deck exists, but I don't think it's ever meant to take on something like the Switch. I think it's always going to be this this intentionally expensive, intentionally high. Like, Valve could release a lower priced version of the Steam Deck, but I think it's kind of against the point. The whole point is it's this expensive boutique item for high-end gamers who want to play stuff on the go, which I think is really cool. Something maybe a little more, in some ways, a little more practical than a gaming laptop. But I'm not sure I'm the target. Maybe you are close to the target demographic because you're very much into, like, you want to play stuff at a really nice fidelity, high frame rate, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, and definitely like being able to take my Steam library on the go is you could say like, hey, just get a laptop, right? But I still, to this day, I don't know. I'm not into laptop gaming. There's so many issues with that. Like just the fact that you would have to get like a controller separate for certain games, as in addition to a laptop. Well, this thing just has it built in, right? It's cool. I'll probably get one at some point. They did mention that they're probably some time away from Steam Deck 2 because they just don't think that the hardware is at a level that they can actually construct something that would take advantage of increased performance and still have the battery life to support that. So it's a good time to, if you're somebody who doesn't have a Steam Deck, it's probably a good time to buy one now.
We sort of are at the point of diminishing returns with graphics power, where these days GPUs are larger than ever, they run hotter than ever, they draw more power than ever. The performance we're getting out of them is extremely impressive, but it's not like 10, 20 years ago where every 2 years or so you could expect roughly the power to double for like the same price. That high-end gaming, PC gaming, just any hardware gaming is just getting more expensive, and it's going to be harder to cram those materials into a small device like the Steam Deck.
All right, so that's the news for the industry. I'm just gonna wrap it up by saying that I want to mention something I forgot last time, and that is that John Gatello is leaving Unity. It's been announced a while ago, and it just, I guess can you call it a good ending, or just a bittersweet ending, or just really a nothing ending, because guy came in, took a dump on your carpet, and then got to pay out and just left. Essentially, that's what happened, really. But at least he's gone, right? It's who knows where he's going to end up. Hopefully nowhere, but he's not going to be in Unity anymore. And he's not the only one. Bobby Kotick as well is leaving Activision. Well, I say leaving, but hopefully he was pretty much asked to leave. It's just sad that it took this long and this amount of money for this to happen.
Well, they made it sound like he was only going to leave if the company got bought out.
Well, sure, but it's just that, like when you think about when that guy should have left, you're spoiled for choice. And probably you could say that, well, probably the last thing that was happening with Blizzard was a good time for him to kind of pack his stuff and leave. But nope, still stayed on and kind of held on to his warm seat until Microsoft had to step in and buy the whole thing. But yeah, both of them are gone. Probably not going to change anything. Just they're going to find some new asshole to replace them both. Well, at least Unity, they said they're already looking for a CEO. They're looking for it very hard. So we'll see.
That person has a lot of work to do restoring goodwill between developers. I think a lot of people are going to be walking away and looking for other engines.
Yeah, an impossible task. All right. That was news. I'm going to take a quick break and return with the first game, which is Thief, the Dark Project. We're back with Thief, the Dark Project, or Thief Gold in this case. Ian, do you know the difference? Because on Steam is where I'm playing this. That was the only option for the first Thief game, the original. You couldn't really buy the original. You only have an option of getting the Thief Gold, which, from what I could tell, it's just the same game with a couple of additions, I guess.
It was a thing that IDOS did back in the day. They did it with Tomb Raider as well. They re-released games with the gold title. And in the case of Thief, it meant that Thief the Dark Project got 3 new levels. They added some extra bits to some previous levels, fixed some bugs. They also, changed around a few things. So it's tough to say if gold is like the definitive version. There are some things that with the story that I think flow better in the original version, but I would say by and large that gold is probably the better of the two.
So do you remember what the difficulty settings change?
A lot of things. I recommend you play on normal for the pacing of the levels. So in Thief is similar to GoldenEye, where your objectives actually change throughout the difficulty settings. So on the highest difficulty, generally you can't kill anyone.
What if I shoot them in the face?
You'll have to reload a save. It will fail you.
Oh, in that way. Not that they're so tough that you can kill them. It fails the mission.
Yes.
Interesting.
It doesn't rebalance the gameplay. It's one of the games where now you can't take as many hits on the higher difficulties, but it's not like enemies have more HP. It's not like they do more damage to you. It's not like their view indicators have been changed. Oftentimes you have to get a certain amount of loot in the levels. You can't kill people, or you can't kill guards, but you can kill guards, but you can't kill innocents. And then sometimes you actually have to go to other parts of the levels and do extra objectives.
Well, that's interesting because we just now we've been discussing difficulty once again, and there's an interesting way of approaching this, right? You would expect, my natural expectation would be that, expert would be enemies tougher and you have less resources, but actually it sounds like they did a different approach to this, and good on them. I'll go with normal per your suggestion for this for today, but I would probably try and play an expert if I was playing this game properly. And Thief is, man, one of the games I really regret not playing back in the day. It's a true classic, and I will fix that. I'm going to play all the 3 original games, and hopefully this is going to be a good start to that. Do you think I should do training or just skip that?
I feel like we can probably skip training. I think the training mode made a lot of sense for the time, but so much of, like, when this game came out, stealth games hadn't really been codified and they were pretty new to people, but you kind of know how stealth games basically work.
Okay.
Weirdly enough, I don't think it's a great training level. I think the training level teaches you, a bunch of things that are super basic to the game, but they don't teach you the more complex things. You're actually going to need to just figure those out yourself.
Okay, so I need to sneak into Lord Baffert's manor, get the key from the guard, and then find his prized jeweled scepter and get it for myself. This reminds me of actually Hitman, where you have this, I guess, kind of a prep screen where you can get some weapons, buy some stuff, I guess.
Yeah, so throughout Thief, you're going to find loot in the levels, and one of the biggest reasons to get loot, aside from it sometimes being a requirement on the higher difficulties, is that you are going to use that money on the next level to buy gear. So it won't actually stack between levels. So as much as you made in the previous level is what you have to buy in the next level.
Okay, so I have 300 cash. How do I know? Okay, so this is my starting gear. I have a sword, blackjack, I assume some sort of club. Yeah, club. Healing potion, some arrows, but I don't have a bow though.
Yeah, you have a bow. So if you have arrows, you get to use them with the bow.
Okay, so I can buy some more of this stuff, but I think I'm good. I can just start. Review goals. This is my objectives. All right.
I have a simple job planned for this evening. Break into a guarded mansion, steal another fat nobleman's priceless trinket, and leave quietly. Lord Bafford is out of town, and rumor has it that the captain of his house guard went with him as a bodyguard. The time is ripe for a bit of burglary. The front gate of Lord Bafford's manor is always guarded, and the main street is far too exposed. But Cuddy tells me there's a better way in, around to the side, more out of the way. One guard, and likely no witnesses to complicate matters. The piece Cuddy wants is a scepter, silver, jewels, the usual adornments. It should command a high price. Bafford, like most of his kind, probably keeps his treasures on the top floor of the place, close to his heart, and far from his servants. No point in waiting. I have Cuddy's old sketches of the place, and everyone who's going to be asleep inside already is. It's time to begin.
Here we are.
Are you running this game at a higher resolution? You can do this on widescreen HD.
No, this is as much as it goes up to, and I decided not to choose any mods. It didn't. I looked around. I didn't find any kind of definitive mods for this game. There were some, but I was like, I'll just do vanilla.
My assumption then is that the GOG version comes with all the fixes built in. Maybe the Steam version is just you're literally just running maybe the 1998 executable, in which case I'm surprised it runs at all, because the modern version of the game would fix the cutscene issue and adds widescreen support.
Maybe, but I guess we're gonna get the vanilla experience here, and yeah, it's 800 by 600. All right.
Last time I was there was a real eye gouging. Nah, it makes me sick. When I was a kid.
Okay, club. Okay, I don't want to go in there because there's 3 of them and 2 of them are facing the entrance. So I'm gonna go around, see what's up here. Okay, is that something I can climb? So I noticed that the start menu, it had a lot of kind of gears and steampunky looking things. I was under the impression that this game is set in like kind of medieval fantasy, but is this more like a steampunk kind of setting?
It's somewhere sort of between the two, and depending on what game in the series you're playing as well, they play with that. Where some of the later games introduce newer technology, and even the architecture becomes a little more modernized.
So who made this game, Ian?
So this game is made by Looking Glass Studios, a studio which also made some other games like Ultima Underworld, System Shock, and then the Thief games. So they were around for maybe about 10 years. And I don't think any of their games sold super well. I do think that Thief sold over 1 million copies. It was their biggest success. But over the years, their games have gone on to be a huge inspiration for a lot of games like Deus Ex, Dishonored, even the Elder Scrolls games. If you look at the credits of the people who worked on this game, and then you look at titles over the years, the people who worked on these games played a huge hand in games like the ones I mentioned before, and games like BioShock and stuff like that.
Yeah. So really good pedigree, and I read something about how did they because they eventually closed, didn't they?
Yeah. In 2000.
What happened there?
I think it was partially a case of the games doing okay but not great, and IDOS, which is publishing these games, was facing some financial woes because of some games like Daikatana not performing very well. And I think the studio just couldn't afford. They released Thief 2, and they couldn't afford to keep the lights on after that.
So I will say this, that I guess something we learned over the years in level design is that I wish this level would start with, because I know I need to get to a manor and infiltrate it, but I kind of start in this really back alley kind of place, and I guess I wish there was like a view of that manor somewhere accessible. Like, let's say instead of this brick kind of tower there or wall, it would be the view of that manor, and then you have to find your way somehow to get there, unless the manor is right here, which I don't think it is. So I'm kind of blindly walking down these streets.
Yeah, these are very small, very linear, or not they're not overly sprawling streets, but it is easy to get lost in the sense that you're just starting the game out.
Well, I found these sewage entrances, so I'm just gonna have a try to go here.
The level design in these games in general is quite interesting, because these levels weren't built like traditional video game levels. Looking Glass pioneered immersive sims, the simulation part being really important to the game. So these levels are actually more interested. They're not super interested in following video game conventional design when it comes to laying out levels, where everything has a purpose and everything leads you to the next thing, and you have a really smooth intensity graph. The levels are more like simulations of mansions and banks and crypts and various locales. They aren't overly designed.
But they can't be, I mean, at a certain point they have to serve the purpose of the game, right? They may be as simmy as they want, but I still need to be able to get to my objective as part of the game, part of the flow of the game, right? So I kind of did something here. I pulled the switch. Not sure what that did. This looks closed, but maybe I can open it. All right. Oh.
So that gem at the bottom of the screen tells you how visible you are.
Yeah.
So when you equip a bow, it will make you more visible.
Really?
You can lean with the Q and E keys. Yeah, so if you press tilde, I don't know what it is on UK keyboards. Yeah, okay. So that puts away your weapon, and that makes you less visible.
Oh, well, but I need it though. I'm gonna shoot this guy. Okay. Well, there you go. Can I get his booze?
Should be able to.
Oh, here's the key. There you go. Nice. That's hopefully the key I need. Okay, my man, you're gonna go for a swim. How does this play into anything? Being able to hide the bodies.
Yeah, so if enemies find the bodies, they'll alert other guards. It works pretty much as you'd expect in any modern stealth game. I mean, keep in mind this game came out around the same time as Half-Life in '98. I think around the same, maybe the same month as Metal Gear Solid. But weirdly enough, I think Metal Gear has it's a much simpler form of stealth. It's much more like a Pac-Man sort of line of sight thing. Whereas I think a lot of what Thief did is closer to what you see in more modern games, where you can be partially visible and things like that. Are you stuck?
I am indeed stuck.
Well, you're stuck on that lid, I think. Can you open it? Can you close it?
Nope. Oh man.
This is where having the modern version with the modern resolutions and things can help, because it can actually help with collision and things like that.
Yeah, but it should still work, right? This was the original game. Are you saying people would have just got stuck in this?
No, but I'm saying these games have a lot of I love the Thief games, but they have a lot of problems. They have a lot of warts that you have to be willing to overlook.
All right, let's restart this then. Not a good start so far. There was a guy here that I think he was here. So is there do I have multiple ways to approach the manor and how to get in? I mean, obviously there's a key that was mentioned, but apart from that, is that my only kind of way to get in there?
This level breaks convention because there is only one way to get into the mansion, I think. From what I remember, I think there is only the one way, which is pickpocketing the key off that guard, or killing the guard and taking the key. Or I suppose you could actually, because it's a wooden door, you can actually smash the door open, but you have to go through that one door, which is not how most of the levels play out.
Okay.
How's it going?
Usually in Thief, there are at least a couple ways of approaching
Oh,
anything.
so this guy said like, hello, how's it going? So they're not aggro immediately at me.
Yeah, because you're just standing in the streets.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah. So later games, there aren't many levels in the first Thief where you're just out of the streets like this after this one. Usually you're somewhere where you shouldn't be, so it makes sense that guards would chase after you immediately. The second game, I think they have placed a warrant on you, so it makes sense the guards will hunt you down immediately after seeing you. So it's some clever in-universe explanation.
So I've got the key now, but I still want to kind of pull that lever I found in the sewer, so I'm going to quickly go there. Just in case it opens something for me later on. I think it was around here somewhere. Yeah, here. Ah, it just opens this. Okay, and this leads to here. Which was just behind the guard. Alright. I see, game. Alright, I got the key. There was something here behind him, though. Oh! No! Oh, okay. Alright, so we're swimming. Well, hopefully this will lead to the manor.
You're also slower when you carry the sword. So there's all kinds of things where, I do wonder to what extent the designers were saying that, okay, if you walk slower with the sword, then it balances things out. How much were they thinking like that versus how much were they thinking like, well, everything should behave like it should in the real world, and a sword is, heavy and it's tough to carry, so you can't move as fast as if you were carrying your blackjack.
It's a balance, right? It's like how much gameness do we need to introduce, and how much of realistic elements. And nowadays, games like Hitman kind of I think, nailed that balance a bit more or less, I guess. At least for the type of game they made, where it's like you're an assassin and you can do all these setups, but at the same time, there's a lot of kind of game elements to the whole. Ooh, he has a VO. I didn't expect that.
So, I mean, this is a great example of, like, in 1998, you can pick up these crates, you can throw them, they have weight, they bounce. You can smash the crates, break them, they'll break into little pieces. You can pick up bottles, you can throw them as distractions and things like that. It'll take like 100 hits to break it with your blackjack, but it'll only take like 3 or 5 hits to break it with your sword, that sort of thing.
Is there anything in them?
No, never.
Okay.
But you can create a distraction if you wanted to do this kind of thing. So this is stuff that is designed just purely to make the world feel more realistic, or let players solve things their own way using things like physics.
Well, we're fine. But I've been thinking we should watch the outsides more.
That's stupid. People to worry about there on the inside.
No, then you catch them before they get inside, you taffer.
Oh.
So there's a classic forcing the player to listen to some dialogue before they can proceed, because there really is no easy way out of that hallway without listening to these guards.
Yeah.
I think it's also important that they set up these guards as being stupid, so it makes sense that you can sneak around, right in front of their faces. Because in a game like Splinter Cell, it makes a little less sense that these guards can't see you when you're 5 inches away from them. But it makes a little more sense when these guards are drunk and they're not paying much attention and they sound like that.
Yeah, obviously this game is so old that the lighting doesn't really support that kind of idea here. It's just everything's a bit too well lit, but I know that you have to mostly look at your meter and kind of assume that if it's not lit, you are hidden in the shadows. That makes me kind of wonder what the newest game. I mean, I'm hoping that at the very least that game had the lighting sorted to a point where it was, it aided you in your stealth, and it made sense there.
For sure. So if you press the 4 key on the keyboard, you can take out a water arrow, and if you were to draw that and hit a torch, you could put out the light and give yourself more darkness to move around in.
That's cool. That is cool.
So that's dynamically changing. Well, not. I mean, it is all pre-baked, but it's flipping over to another lighting bake, which is really impressive. Notice as well that the floor, the texture of the ground, is really important. You have to listen to your own footsteps in this game. This game isn't going to give you some UI telling you how much sound you're making. You have to actually pay attention to your own sounds.
I appreciate that it takes one hit to kind of knock them out. I feel like I don't really want to get into a, melee fight with them if I have the jump on them.
Blackjack's pretty powerful. Flash bombs. You can throw this and it will blind the guards, so you can make a hasty getaway. So these are really powerful tools. So you would right click to use that. You can scroll with the mouse wheel, maybe. The default bindings might be a little weird.
Okay, so what was the object? Okay, so I sneaked into the manor and I need the scepter. Okay. So just look for the scepter then.
If you press M, you've got the map.
Huh. So where am I? It's just a static map.
You're in the basement, which is blue. So I really like the map in the Thief games because they could have done a more detailed map or a mini map or something, but instead they give you these incredibly vague scribbles that you can tell, that you've purchased this map off of maybe somebody who used to work here and they're working off of memory. All these little notes, and they give you vague indications of where you are, but you still have to use your own perception to guide yourself to the levels.
Yeah, I mean, it does exactly what they envisioned, I guess, where it's like, it just gives you a general idea that, okay, if you're in the sewers, that's where it's useful, right? Like if you're in the sewers and you're thinking, am I even in the right place at all? And you can open this map and it says sewers leads to basement, right? So you go, okay, yeah, well, I'm somewhere where I need to be.
You definitely can and will get lost in Thief, and that's kind of the point. The map is there sometimes to help you out as much as it can, but that's yeah.
If that was not an option at all, I wouldn't mind.
So you're holding a vase right now, so you'll need to
Okay.
right. You can right click again to.
I
to
think I
throw it.
changed the binding. Right click now is a block for me because that felt natural.
Oh, okay.
But I guess
You'll almost never block in this game. Whatever the action key is, yeah.
I don't need a vase right now.
That's only if you want to make it. It would work like a bottle in Sniper.
Yeah.
Or rock, I guess.
What's that?
Go back to sleep. So if I'm discovered by the guards, is this like similar to Hitman where you're probably going to be outgunned and outmatched, or is it like I can totally like take them on like an Assassin's Creed kind of situation?
It's gonna be more like Hitman. I think one of the faults of the you hit the
Oh man, this is so good.
See, there's a great example of the simulation aspect.
That is so good.
I wonder if that's a little troll on the developer's part.
Probably. I mean, I would put him exactly there on purpose.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the flaws maybe the first couple Thief games is that getting caught can be so painful. It can have such long-term consequences, at least as far as the mission, that oftentimes you just get in the habit of quick saving and quick loading whenever you get stuck. And I do wish the game was better at helping players roll with the punches. The later Thief 3 particularly tweaked a few of the player power-ups to give the players more options to sort of return to stealth once they've been caught. But in this game, oftentimes if you're caught, the enemies are going to stay on high alert for the rest of the level, which can be pretty punishing.
So these food items I'm picking up, can I eat them or they're just to throw?
You can eat them, but they won't do anything.
Oh, that's weird.
In Thief 2, they give you health, but you could argue that that's, again, tweaking things maybe from a sim to something a little gamier.
There's quite a lot of kind of just empty rooms and not just empty of enemies. Sometimes they're just empty of anything. I mean, it's an older game.
No, but that wasn't really the style back then either. This comes back to the developers being more interested in simulating. They focus on actually just building the 3D space of a mansion, and then they started filling it with enemies and items and things of interest, things the player can interact with, but not overly tweaking it to be gamey. More trying to keep it realistic, so that you can use your head and you can actually think, well, where would a scepter be? Maybe it would be in Lord Baffert's private quarters. Well, where would Lord Baffert's private quarters be? And you can actually use your intuition based on that to navigate your way through the level. I think it keeps the levels feeling a bit more fresh and memorable because they don't feel like traditional video game levels. And they're okay with having a bit of negative space. They're okay with having things be a little looser than traditional level design might assume.
Well, by that logic, if we look at the map, obviously I came from here. Actually, it does show where I'm at the moment, which is here.
Mm-hmm.
So courtyard with a pool. I mean, that's not going to be there. That's an entrance. Second floor, some kind of tower. I guess I would assume it's either here or here. Probably here.
You can press the right button on the bottom right to see the second floor as well.
Okay. Throne room. There you go.
Watch for interior patrols. So you've got to find your way upstairs somehow.
Well, actually, it should be here, and I would be here then. So somewhere here should be an upstairs.
Something there.
See.
This is a really good example of, like, Metal Gear has the player view cones. Oh, he's going to die if he stays in there for more than a few seconds.
That's fine. That was
Yeah.
in fact my intention.
Oh, you hear that ground? So the tile you're walking on is incredibly loud right now.
Okay, so this is the courtyard with a pool. So that is okay, so this is where the staircase should be to the higher upper floor.
Now you're walking on carpet, which is really quiet. So you could run across carpet and enemies might not hear you. Stone is okay. Tile, you have to tread really carefully. It's going to make a lot of noise.
Okay, back where I came from.
So notice how that guard, he asked if there was something there. I mean, Metal Gear has a bit of that stuff, but it has the radar with the player, with the enemy view cones, which is way more important at communicating feedback about the AI state. But in Thief, all you have to listen, you have to listen to what the guards are saying, just like you would in real life. There's no HUD that tells you that an enemy is honing in and listening for you. You just have to hear for it. And I think it's a great example of less being more, where it actually gets you using your ears.
Yeah. All right, I am getting closer to.
So you see that tile ground? So that's going to be loud to walk on.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's nobody here, so I feel like they could have had a bit more enemies in these spaces.
I think it, like, for me, I found this game to be really tough. I mean, I was a kid when I played Thief, but I found this game to be really tough because so much of this gameplay, there was nothing quite like it when this game came out. These days, you're a bit more trained on some modern stealth style games. Oh shit! Take out your sword, man.
This way! Thief!
What? Come back here.
He's gonna alert everyone.
Oh no, but I can't catch him.
Guards! Back up! Here!
Oh my god. Come here. Oh my god. Oh man. Why can't I catch him? God damn. Oh man.
You have a healing potion. Oh,
I'm back for it! Out!
by the way, this game doesn't autosave.
Oh.
If you die, it's gonna be back to the beginning. If you put away your sword, you'll run faster too.
Who are you?
You're dead, pal!
God damn, he's relentless.
Oh gosh.
No.
Only it landed in the water.
Okay, so I have to save manually. God damn.
Yes. I mean, yeah, I would say any game before 2000 or so, it's going to be manual saves only.
You soft belly.
I didn't like that I couldn't chase him. It really kind of creates a very specific dynamic with these enemies, where it's like if they decide to run, there's nothing you can do unless you take out your bow and shoot them. But to be honest, I feel like they're taking a lot of hits before they go down. None of them died from me.
If he was running away, then that meant he would have been 1 or 2 hits away from death.
I guess.
But I mean, I don't think the point is to chase enemies. I don't think you're supposed to be chasing after enemies so you can kill them. I think the bigger issue is that when you chose to run away, that it wasn't easy to shake those enemies.
Mhm.
They
Yeah.
relentlessly pursued you all across the map, and it needs to be easier. It should be a little easier to return to stealth.
Inside at last.
I've been thinking. The sir could really beef up security.
Unfortunately, here you've got to listen to these guys.
What's wrong with us? Well, we're funny. But I've been thinking we should watch the outsides more.
That's stupid. People to worry about there on the inside.
No, then you catch them before they get inside, you taffer.
Oh!
So you're making good progress. It's one of these games where when you know where to go, when you've better internalized the levels, that you can just fly through them.
Help!
If you take out a flash bomb, you could throw it at him.
I don't have that anymore.
Oh, right.
Running scared now? Dogs, this way! Ow! Oh.
That's right. Stay dead.
Now, even that blood on the ground, enemies can see that and they can become wary. And you can, if you fire, I believe if you fire a water arrow at it, it will mop up the blood. It's pretty cool. There's your flash bomb. What do you think about the audio in general, beyond just listening to barks and things?
It's fine. It creates this kind of like, not scary, because I know there's not going to be monsters here or anything, but it creates this tension, right? Like it's dangerous in this castle, and if they catch you, you're done.
I think the music's, yeah, I always find the music to be really evocative in these games, really well produced.
Who's there? Oh. Noise stopped. Guess it was nothing.
So notice that. So you heard his footsteps trail away, and you knew that he had turned around. Like, that's pretty impressive for the time.
Yeah, I mean, even nowadays, not every game pulls that off successfully.
I mean, they have it, but they don't expect players to have to use their ears like that. So they'll have some kind of mini map or some kind of echolocation effect on the audio where you can pick up footsteps, that kind of thing. Even Dishonored has the lightning bolts around enemies' heads to display their AI awareness state. So you can grab that cup to your left. It's not just a physics object, it's actually a piece of gold that you can collect.
Oh, well. Guess it was nothing.
Whoa! What? God damn.
Yeah, so when they leave that state for a little bit, they become more, you can't sneak up on them because they're gonna be listening for it. Oh, he's like one hit from death. Maybe just truck on. But things like, see that vase there is yellow, it's gold. So that will be an item. So that just gets you slowing down a bit and examining the environment a little more. Oh, you might want to use your healing potion as well. That's the use key.
So can I eat? So in this game, I can't eat food to...
You can, it just won't do anything.
Oh. Well, I'm gonna eat it anyway.
Yeah, why not?
Okay, so I'm back here, and I'm kind of getting a bit stuck. I mean, these look like they could be.
Ah, a little ring.
That looks like a scepter I need.
It's cute. There's even a made up religion with this holy order that you'll encounter in the game, and these paintings reflect their beliefs. Oh, you should save. That's an electric light, so you can't.
Oh. Okay, this is new. They're just pure monies.
That's stacks.
Okay.
Feels like you're getting close, right? Like even how the level is laid out, you've gone from this crummy basement where the servants live to move up to the middle floor. Now you're moving into his private chambers, and it's becoming more and more ornate.
Okay, the scepter is here.
If he reads them or if it's just for show.
Oh, I'm back here. No.
Yeah, sort of a courtyard shape. Notice, it's because you're on the tile, man. It's really loud. But there's carpet running across the ground, the hallways, so you just need to keep an eye out of where you're standing.
But I'm going slow though.
The tile's just very loud.
I need to go there though, I think. So if I shoot him from here with a bow, he's not gonna die, right?
If you catch him unaware, you could take him out with a bow. He's good around the corner, though.
No, I don't think it'll be here. I mean, you're right in the way that like it does the environments definitely like instruct you in terms of like how they look, the visuals. Like I feel like if I'm going there, it's some sort of cellar, dungeon, sewer, so I wouldn't think that a scepter would be there, so I'm not gonna even go there, I guess. Okay, so I'm...
If you crouch walk as well, that will be even slower.
How do you
and
crouch?
Quieter. X, Control, C.
Okay, yeah.
There you go. Because yeah, crouch walking is a great way to get around with lower visibility and also making slightly less sound. Though this tile floor is pretty nasty.
I just want to get rid of this guy.
When I find you, you'll regret it.
I don't think that's going to work on him. I don't know why you're so bent on chasing this guy.
I just wanna end his life. God damn it. Okay, screw the guy. But I'm still having trouble finding my way. Why is this wall so different? Maybe there's like a switch in this room. That wall. Oh.
Probably not.
I don't know. It.
Come back out here, you tapper!
Are you finding yourself a bit frustrated right now?
No. I think there's places I haven't checked yet, so I'm finding new things. So that's good. I guess I'm just trying to decide if it's something like I'm just missing a specific path or a room, or if it's literally like a secret switch that I have to find and activate. Or
No, it's nothing that esoteric.
okay, well then I just need to get here.
Well, you're on the first floor, so you got to go back.
So okay, let's.
Don't hurt me. Help! Save me! There's someone here.
Okay, so this feels like the topmost floor. And
Yeah, you're in the right area.
these ones. So I am in.
I think you also have a compass in your items, so you could use that to line up with.
So does that
So you're
point towards
facing
objective?
No, that points north.
Okay.
If you compare that with the map, well, actually, we don't know where north is.
Yeah, I was gonna say we don't. There's no way we can. Well, I know that this is the courtyard, right? And then from there, this is what I'm facing. So I literally need to go there. Ah, wait. Oh no. So.
Get warmer.
I mean, this literally looks like his bedroom, but some booze.
Little nightcap
gonna open that.
Strange noise. You can't hide for long.
That's a weird set of stairs.
That is really weird.
Seems clear enough now. Who's noising about then? Come out here, I dare you! Ah! 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 Ah!
Oh, god damn it. Almost
Wow.
dead. I don't have any potions, do I? Nope, only gold. I'm gonna die, but at least I'll be rich.
Mhm.
Okay, I think hopefully this... Do you have like a... What is that? Key. Alright.
So you've already got that key, so now you got a second copy.
Okay. Okay, so I came from here. Check this room. Let's see. Okay, that's closed. It's also closed.
So you've got the key, or you've got keys on you, so you can try the keys on the door.
Ah. Oh, okay.
Hello? Show yourself.
Oh, god damn it. Okay, I'm gonna save.
Don't save in the same spot. No,
Oh.
don't save with 1 HP. Your only slot.
Hello? Anyone there? Guess not.
35 arrows. Wow, they give you so many in this level. Because he was slightly aware of you. He wasn't.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
Oh man.
Oh.
Slightly aware of me.
Well, because he was already like, "What's that there?" So he's not going to die in
So he
one
gains
hit.
like a massive HP armor buff.
Yeah, he's flexing his neck when you hit him in the back of the head, right?
Nice.
Knock. This tile floor.
Ah, god damn it. What the Okay, I'm gonna reload. This is bullshit. I didn't even know they had like a fucking gong over there.
I think in retrospect, looking back in this level, they probably shouldn't have used so much tile, because the tile floor is the loudest floor in the game. I think that's a lot to bring out in the first level. To have players already having to think about, like when I would play this level, I'd be thinking about almost like jumping between the bits, the spaces of the carpet to stay off the tile. And I think that's probably too much for players to juggle at this point.
Yeah. Okay, now he's unaware.
Yeah, let's say he's unaware.
Ooh, look at fancy zoom. God damn it.
You go.
Nice.
Maybe save.
I am surprised that a bow isn't as much of a thing as I thought it would be in this game. Like, obviously, it's a thing, but
Not so much for combat.
Yeah, it's only useful in very specific situations.
So you've got the water arrows, yes.
Well, yes.
For taking the lights, you do get other kinds of passive arrows that can help you explore. But yeah, I mean, I think it would be too powerful to have a long range killing tool in this kind of game. This game isn't about killing. This isn't stealth in the sense of like dropping down on enemies and killing them. Most, ideally, you play the highest difficulty, you can't even kill people.
Huh. Yeah. Well, there you go.
Which is, I would say that expert is probably the intended way of playing this game. But anyway, so congrats, you got to the first mission.
And that's about the time we have. I guess I could have done it a bit quicker, but I don't think we would have had time for another full level. But
I mean, there's definitely a learning curve, so
Yeah.
I would say good on you.
I think I really like it, and it definitely it makes you play a very like specific in a cautious way, right? You're like, you have to listen to these steps, you have to pay attention to where you are, you have to like create this mental image of the environments, even though you have the map. Obviously that helps, but it's more like that progression from where you start to where you get to. I mean, in this mission in particular, it's because you're trying to find the scepter, and it's probably in a throne room kind of place, so that helps as well. So hopefully that kind of stuff continues throughout the game, but it really kind of meshed together well in the flow itself. So I really appreciated that. I think there's some jank in obviously the combat and the enemies. Some of that stuff is really nice, where like I have to listen to the steps, listen to what they're saying. On the other hand, some of the stuff that happens when you start fighting them is not, it's an old game, right? It's not that important anyway, because ideally most people will be playing this in a stealth, right? So they'll want to avoid enemies, they'll want to take them out quietly, and that's the fantasy of this game. And I think it delivers, even though it's such an old title. Obviously,
the big thing is this game isn't as broad as Dishonored. It's not the kind of game like Dishonored, for a bunch of reasons, is a game where you can stealth or you can kill people. And Thief is very distinctly a game where you stealth, you don't kill people.
Yeah.
Killing people means that you made mistakes.
Yeah, this is like this is really similar to what IO did years later with Hitman. Obviously, in Hitman you're taking out people, but in Hitman also you are encouraged very much to not get exposed and not get into these firefights with enemies, because they will overwhelm you. Yeah, it was really nice. I enjoyed it. So the second and third game, would you say they improve on the formula, and are they better than each previous title?
Thief 2 is more of an incremental upgrade. It's the same engine. It's going to be the same kind of feel, a lot of the same sound effects. They, tweak a few things here or there, but in a lot of ways it feels like one giant sort of expansion of the first game. When you play more of the first game, you'll come to understand why some things have changed, but I would say it's more changed in some of the level design and the theming and the enemies that you fight and things like that. I won't go any further and spoil it for you, but Thief 3 came out in around 2004, and that game also came out on the original Xbox. That game actually you can play in either first person or third person.
Oh.
And it changes a lot of things. It actually has a semi-open world structure where you can move around the hub of the city between missions. You can team up with factions. You can buy and sell things from stores. It's a pretty different format.
That also almost sounds like they went overboard and way beyond what the original Thief is. I mean, that's obviously the fact, but do you think they... Well, I guess I'll find out if I play the game, but it feels like that would be very much not in line with what this game is trying to achieve.
I think in some ways it fulfills the fantasy that at least I had when I played Thief, which is like playing these missions are so cool, but that level was just the mansion, and you get these tiny glimpses of the city, but they're boarded off. You can't go there. And so what if you had just this whole city that you could just explore and rob? And Thief 3, I would say, fulfills that desire.
Okay.
They tried a lot of different things with that one, so I have a lot of respect for it.
Cool. That was Thief, The Dark Project. We're going to take a quick break and come back with the second game, Lollipop Chainsaw.
Lollipop Chainsaw, yeah.
Right, we're back with Lollipop Chainsaw. In contrast to Thief, I would say.
Tell me about this game, Serge.
In contrast of any kind of stealth at all, this game by Suda51, Grasshopper Manufacturer came out in 2012 for 360 and PS3 only. It never really came out on anything else. James Gunn is also involved in this, and I just thought about this game last time because they announced recently a remake. Well, they first said a remake, full remake, but then they kind of downgraded it to maybe a remaster at most. Neither Suda51 nor James Gunn are involved in that remake anymore. And actually, they even said that the soundtrack that was in the original was not going to be returning as well.
Is it licensed music? Is that why?
I think it is licensed music. And actually, one of the highlights of this game is the boss fights. And I think each had a theme, like a song and stuff like that. So I'm interested to see how they're going to handle that part, because the boss fights were really a standout for this game. I mean, this game is kind of like inspired by all the B movies you can think of, like, you know, Machete, Grindhouse, think of that kind of stuff.
Well, James Gunn actually got his start working for Troma. You know, Troma, like Toxic Avenger?
Yeah.
The movie? So he was directing movies for that studio, which is sort of makes it the perfect fit for this kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, that, obviously, that's the connection is obvious there in that case. So, and it came out at a time where Grasshopper was releasing quite a number of these kind of games. Some of their titles were like Shadow of the Damned around that time, No More Heroes, that kind of action-y third-person game. And of those, I only played this one, and I really enjoyed it. Again, it's kind of like, you know, you run around the levels, you kill hordes of zombies, and then you fight the bosses, which are the standout of the game, like I mentioned. And the music is also pretty cool. So kind of really straightforward, linear experience. Kind of like, actually, I guess you could see similarities with Modern Warfare, for example, where it's also kind of just wants you to move forward and get on with fighting these bosses and kind of finish the game. Not really there to be. There's some collectibles and unlocks. I think you can unlock new costumes for Juliet and stuff like that. But for the most part, it's a one and done game.
Okay, let's get into it.
Let's do it. I mean, this game also tries to be kind of humorous and funny, although that's up to individual if they find any of the stuff funny enough or maybe cringy.
Yeah, I mean, have you played many other Suda51 games, Grasshopper Manufacture games?
You know what? I keep wanting to play their games, especially No More Heroes, but I think this is probably the only one I've finished.
So I played a bunch of their games, including No More Heroes, and this was actually a period that I did not play their games because I think there's this feeling of like their games are just kind of, this is a period their games are just known for like a bunch of sex jokes and gore jokes and that kind of thing. It was, you know, very over the top, right? And to be fair, I've not played this game, so this should be interesting, but I'm seeing a lot of people who are like, oh yeah, these games, you know, just not as cool or interesting as Killer 7 or Silver Case or Flower, Sun, and Rain, those sorts of things. Sort of another side of the studio.
Maybe, but I think for me it was just that because it was a separate title on its own, it wasn't connected to any other games. So I just decided, you know what, I'm just gonna try this one because I just can't be bothered right now to get into all the No More Heroes and the other sequels and titles. You know
that they are all connected. I guess in some way or another, to where the newer games have been referencing those titles more and more. You know, I don't think you need to have played the old ones, but some people who have, I haven't played the newest Grasshopper games, but because there's a few that I wanted to catch up on, people are like, you know, you really enjoy them if you like the older titles. You pick up the references and things.
Awesome!
Okay, so another thing to mention is that, so Serge and I both have PS3s, but for the sake of recording, I am playing this with RPC S3. This is my first time using it, and we're getting a bit of hitching as the game's compiling some shaders. So hopefully that dies down once we get in.
Yeah, it's an action game, but I would imagine that this game back in the day it was 30 FPS on PS3
Yeah,
and 360.
yeah.
I wouldn't expect it to be 60. So
You know, I don't mind that it's running in 30 right now, but yeah, at least there I was getting a bit of stuttering. Seems to have gone away already. So the combat's a bit like the older God of War games, right? Or Devil May Cry, that sort of thing.
yeah, it's a I guess a derivative of all of those. I don't think it ever gets as complex as Devil May Cry, but
Wow.
you
yeah.
will you do. I think you do learn like new moves and chainsaw attacks.
Press buttons
Actually, one of
together.
the ones I remember, I think she can do like a spinning forward move with a chainsaw. That looks pretty cool.
Keep fighting with his arms.
I mean, this game obviously is very much like an arcade, has an arcadey feel and flavor. So you'll be getting all of the scores and coins, and you being scored on how well you kill all these zombies and your style points or whatever. So there's definitely like that kind of incentive to do well in these fights, or kind of adds replayability in that sense.
You just got to kill a certain amount. Okay.
What do you think about the visuals and the style, the style, I guess?
I think it looks all right. I like the contrast between Juliet and the UI, and then sort of everything else around her in the world.
Yeah, she's like a sparkly and you know.
And the UI shows that like it's almost like how she's seeing the world, or how the world's being presented to her versus how it actually is, or how everyone else is seeing it.
Really great work. See if you can get anyone else out.
Be careful.
Why wasn't she looking up there? This is probably a bit of a budget title, right?
But I mean, that's all of Grasshopper's game, right? They're not really.
Well, I mean, certainly these days. Actually, this is kind of, Suter didn't direct this game. He was on the front of the box. But this is an era where he wasn't actually. He was sort of writing these games, but he was too busy running a big studio to direct because they were trying to compete with bigger budget games. And in recent years, they actually downsized to a really small group, and now they're using stuff like Unity and making indie-sized stuff.
Well, I don't know about back then, but as of 2019, they are 20 people in the studio.
So I think back in 2012 they were a lot more, because they had about 3 projects, because they were doing this. There was Killer is Dead, and there was Shadows of the Damned, all happening probably around the same time, but not at the same time.
Yeah, and to be honest, I never thought that this game was too budget, because once hopefully we'll get to at least the first boss, and they are pretty kind of high budget. Like there's a lot of animations, and the encounter mechanics are pretty cool, and obviously all of the things that you expect VO, and even the visuals are pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's, it doesn't feel like it's particularly lacking. Probably just, I'd say the biggest difference is probably just that the combat is, like I say, not what you're going to find in something like God of War, which is always true of Suda's games. They've ranged from like, the gameplay often ranges from like decent to tolerable, but that's never really the point, right? It's just about the greater experience and the uniqueness.
So are you how are you finding the way this the level flows? Are you kind of lost, or?
No. I mean, we're right at the big explosive beginning, so it's really clear where you can go next at any given time. Actually, I don't even need to fight these enemies right now. I need to rescue. Oh, maybe I need to rescue this person by killing all the enemies.
Yeah, I think so.
I see. I mean, it's really clear what you have to do at any given time, because you're never doing much more than just killing people, at least so far.
I like her little dance.
So, Serge, were you inspired to have me play this game based on what I was talking about with Haunting Ground last time?
No, it's just that I when we were choosing the games, I remember that I was reading an article about the remake of this game and that I played it and liked it, so I was just chose it based on that.
We could have had a sex sex game
Yeah,
back to
I mean,
back with this kind of what third wave feminism, right? I'm beautiful and I know it.
I think one of the taglines or one of the things that it mentions in one of the trailers is like, "Oh, do you like sex and this and that?" And I'm like, if your definition of sex is fully clothed people with chainsaws, then maybe you can enjoy this as a sexy thing. But you know, I think beyond her wearing a cheerleader outfit, there's nothing else in this game that's even remotely to do with sex.
Yeah, definitely. Well, maybe a bit of a marketing gimmick.
I would say the No More Heroes probably has a lot more of that. They even have like a photo mode where you can, do things.
I think there was a period where Suda was lamenting that Grasshopper was becoming the sexy game studio. Because
There's nothing wrong with that if you want to go for it.
I don't know if that's what publishers were expecting from them or what. But they don't. I don't think they're doing that to the same extent anymore.
I think people like Suda51 are the type of people that would really fight even a publisher and kind of find a way to do games the way they want to make them. So if they are making less of this nowadays, I would imagine it's for different reasons. Yeah, I really like the PFX and VFX in this game in general, like all the hearts and the way the timings of them is really cool. Like as you're finishing the zombie, like a huge heart will just explode and to finish off the fight. She'll do like a quick dance with sparkles and stuff like that.
Yeah. I'm surprised there's no combo counter. I do wish that we had... one thing this game is missing is launchers. The ability to knock enemies into the air and then try to continue a combo against them.
Again, I'm not sure how far we'll get with that in today, but she will learn new moves as the game continues.
I like how you don't actually open anything; you just chainsaw everything.
Yeah. Well, you do have a chainsaw.
So I've heard. This is like Devil Trigger. The remake remaster thing is interesting. It makes me sort of reminds me that I think a lot of I don't know if it's marketing people or what. People don't seem to really know the difference between a remake, a remaster, and a reboot. Because these titles are often used interchangeably when they mean pretty different things.
Yeah, I think you could probably put two and two together and imagine that this was meant to be just a kind of remaster with maybe some enhanced graphics, some new platforms and stuff like that, when Suda51 and James Gunn are not involved, so they wouldn't be making a new story or edit to the story or kind of changing things up. They're just going to be a straight up port with some enhancements. That's what I expect.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine, especially if the game is locked to these old platforms. It's not on PC, so you can't buy it on Steam these days, and it's not 60 FPS.
Actually, that's one thing I would hoping that they might add, the 60 FPS option.
I would think so. Oh.
Weed is for suckers.
Get a zombie groggy. Yep, I know. I do like this sort of auto hop that gets you around enemies. These games are often about crowd control, and not getting overwhelmed by enemies. So I like there was a move that sort of automatically can get me away from enemies.
So is it just you pressing a jump button and she does that?
Yes. So it hops. She vaults over. Well, it's a regular jump, or you can vault over the enemies. And then obviously she kicked into one, so it stuns enemies. So it sort of gets you safe.
Yeah, I like that even that is like a cheerleading move, like
Yeah.
hopping over a thing.
It reminds you of Bayonetta, right? That
Yeah.
everything has to be done in a sexy way.
Yeah, but here I appreciate the consistency of the theming, right?
Well, I think Bayonetta's really good at that as well.
Sure.
Fantastic job, kid.
Glad you made it, pilot dude!
Where's the bee?
What?
Uh-oh.
Jesus Christ! Get off me, you bastard! No! Oh shit! Tell my wife!
Oh no! He crashed over by the school and is probably dead!
They're gonna need a helicopter for the helicopter.
Just a second!
Hey, it's Mom, Juliet. Hope you're taking care of yourself. Don't do anything stupid, okay?
Why didn't she reply?
Oh, now is the perfect time to do some shopping!
I agree.
God, I love shopping.
Surely you need the both lollipop and magic beans. Oh, you can get skills.
Ooh.
You don't have money. You can buy the stab.
Yeah, I mean, I wish it would tell me more about the move. Like, how do I execute it? Can I see a
I think-
video of it in action?
So if you buy it, so
So now that I've bought it, it'll tell me what it does. But I'd like to know that it was like a light
it's-
heavy combo.
yeah. So actually, can you go to some menu, any menu that would actually show you that, or
I couldn't see anything.
so you have awesome skills, threads? I guess that's your costumes.
I'm
art
good for
collection.
now. Yeah, I mean, I think that's stuff that'll unlock later, right?
Yeah. So I guess in this, like outside of that shop, in this gameplay, do you have any menus at all?
Oh, I see what you mean. How to cook zombies. Goodies.
What's in Juliet's stash?
It's like a glossary. Yeah, you can
Okay.
see old
And
messages and stuff.
What's in the cooking? How to cook a zombie? This is like a tutorial thing, I guess, or. There you go.
Yeah, but I would like to have known that before
No,
I
yeah,
spent my
yeah.
money.
Yeah.
It's even more confusing that they have that feature, but they don't let you use it. What do you think about these quick time events? These, mash a button to complete an action. Thing in games.
They're of their time. Although I guess they never went away. They're still kind of around. A bit less nowadays. I'm fine with them unless they become quite annoying or too punishing, I guess. I think in this game they add to the whole vibe, I guess, right?
Whoops. Lollipop.
Have you done the thing you bought?
Yeah, well, I've got a few. I'm surprised, actually, that there haven't been opportunities to fill my health bars, so the lollipops feel pretty valuable. The lit attacks feel pretty wimpy. Like, I think I really need to use the chainsaw more.
Heat it up.
kick. Nice. So how long is this game about?
That's not a long game. You know, I would expect it to be about 8 to 12 hours ish.
Do you think the game keeps things interesting throughout?
I don't think it overstayed its welcome. Let me put it this way: you get enough things to kind of discover and fight interesting enemies all the way to the end of the game, and then you're done.
Okay.
Really.
Yeah.
Actually, I said that it was like a kind of game you play once and that's it. But I guess you could kind of replay it to get better score, get her out some of her outfits, and fill in some of the stuff in. Some of the collectibles, I guess. So it's actually probably a bit more replayable. Well, a lot more replayable than something like Modern Warfare. I think the variety of and like the visual presentation of the bosses goes a long way for this game. I think if it was just this for 8 hours, just kind of slashing the zombies, it would kind of get old.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I mean, it's a pseudo game, so there's gonna be all kinds of interesting stuff to check out, even if as always, even if the gameplay isn't stellar.
Yeah, I want to say they also tried to kind of do some mini games. It's hard to remember. It's been a while. I think at some point you end up in like a basketball court and you have to like play a basketball with these zombies in some kind of crazy way. I'm not sure if you're going to get to that, but I remember something like that also happening in this game. So there's some crazy stuff that game throws at you at different points.
So this feels like the rhythm is that you try to actually use your light attacks to stun the zombies, and then while they're stunned, you can use your slow chainsaw to actually deal the damage and finish them off.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
But he's a boss, so he's probably not going to stun easily. Yeah.
A mini boss. Oh yeah, I forgot about these kind of like elite enemies, I guess.
Nice.
Hey, respect people's property.
Oh, back to back.
Yeah.
Jerry.
I like their name. It reminds me of old beat 'em ups like Streets of Rage. How do I use my R2, right? You can't deactivate it. It's one of those, I think. Yeah.
Oh, Nick, please be okay.
He's not going to be okay, is he?
Well, yes and no.
Nick, are you here? It's okay to come out. Nick? Oh, please.
Juliet!
I'm so hungry.
Ah! Ow! Shit!
Cut it off.
Are you okay, Juliet?
Yes, Are you?
One bit me. Just a little bit. I don't know what that means. What does it mean? Huh?
Oh no, it can't be.
I feel it in me. I'm gonna become one, huh?
Troy Baker?
Fuck.
Probably. Let me look it up.
I don't want to fuck up your birthday.
My birthday? Don't worry about that. That's the dumbest thing ever.
Listen, I know it's stupid. We just started getting serious, but I wanted you to know. I know I've never said it or anything, but I kind of sort of, you know.
No, it's not Troy Baker, but Juliet is done by Tara Strong.
You can tell.
Nick is by someone called Michael Rosenbaum.
No, there's something we can try. It's the only chance we have to save you.
Juliet? What the fuck?
I love you too, baby.
You ever seen Mars Attacks?
Yeah. Why you? What does that remind you of Mars Attacks?
There's that guy who becomes the decapitated head.
It's been a while. All right, we have enough time for another hopeful mission with a boss.
Yeah.
That was a prologue.
I just can't believe we haven't seen any luchador wrestlers yet. Given that it's a pseudo game.
Yeah. Basically.
I feel okay. I feel good. Juliet, I'm not a zombie. Not at all. What? Oh no.
I had to.
Oh God! Oh fuck! Ah, God! Where's my fucking body? Oh fuck!
Don't get mad. I didn't know what to do.
How am I still alive? How am I still talking without a fucking thorax?
I performed a magical ritual on your head. It was really hard. And I don't mean to be a jerk, but I think maybe just a little bit of appreciation is in order. If I didn't chop off your head, the venom would have totally seeped into your brain and turned you into a zombie.
Juliet? How? How do you know how to perform a magical ritual on my decapitated head?
There's some stuff I didn't tell you before, okay? I didn't want you to think I was weird. I'm kinda, sort of,
What? Juliet?
don't know how to say it exactly.
Zombies! Zombies! Come here to kill us now!
I'm a zombie hunter.
What? Ah! Ah! Oh, fuck!
So Ian, if you were attacked by a zombie and bitten like he was, would you prefer to die or be ahead?
Let me mull on that one.
I mean, the benefit of being ahead is that you're attached to the butt of Juliet.
I thought it'd be like a Futurama head, where you're in like a fish tank. You'd hang out talking to Richard Nixon or something.
Yes.
Heck yes, indeed.
Another stupid zombie?
So does Nick talk throughout the game?
Oh, you can bet your ass he does.
Does he offer any gameplay?
I don't think so. No, he's just there to be like comedic relief and.
Oh
you
wow,
know.
it's kind of surprising that they didn't do anything with him mechanically.
I want to say no. I mean, if anything, you maybe like one move that maybe you can throw his head somewhere. But I don't remember him being a big part of the gameplay.
This kind of math sucks.
I actually think like now that I'm watching you play and kind of watching these cutscenes, I feel like this game doesn't actually lean too much on like, doesn't try too hard to be very funny or comedic. It's kind of more, you spend a lot more time just playing and fighting than kind of cringing from the cutscenes and stuff like that.
It's more just like the shock value, I guess, of, you know, the zombies and the sex and stuff like that.
Yeah, it doesn't linger on these kind of quieter moments, for better or worse.
I like that they're often giving you things like these chairs in the way that just exist so you can, you know, have things crashing all around you when you attack enemies.
What's this? A bomb?
That's royally effed up.
That's some whack shit. We should help them, right?
Don't worry, I'll take care of them.
Leave me alone!
Did high school in Lithuania look anything like this?
Oh no. The schools in Eastern Europe are more like schools in Japan, kind of in terms of the layout and look.
Oh! I gotta run over and help him.
Yeah. We also didn't have zombies.
Really?
Oh no, he's gonna die!
I can't. It took me too long.
You can do it.
I don't think so.
Activate the super thing.
I don't have enough. I don't have enough juice.
Oh no.
I hate when people die.
Strong zombie. Oh, that's clever. Keeps things interesting.
Yeah.
And there's definitely a lot of Buffy the Vampire Slayer in this as well. How does she keep that figure if she's eating so many lollipops?
Well, all the zombie slaying is gonna get you there.
I should take tips. Whoa!
I mean, the actual cheerleading, especially if they go like professional, is no joke. They
yeah. It's very impressive. I've been to football games in Tennessee. Even in secondary school, even in high school football games, they are serious about it. Come on. There. Oh. One straggler.
Wait, so did you rescue that girl then? Ah, no.
No.
She
Well,
just
I don't think I could
disintegrated.
have. I think she just. I don't know what's
Yeah, I
going on
guess
there.
not.
Oh gosh! Dang it!
That's cool.
Making very clear that you know where to go at all times. I do wish there was a bit of you know, I like that the Devil May Cry games have a little bit of puzzle solving occasionally. That they'll have a few quieter moments where they can break up the action, and those games are, you know, they're just as intense and in your face and unabashedly stupid as Lollipop Chainsaw. So I do wish that there were more moments where I could take stock and mix things up.
Yeah, like I mentioned, there will be certain things that you'll be doing differently, but I don't think it'll ever be a moment where like, okay, she'll put down her chainsaw and you know, start thinking about like this kind of puzzle in front of her. It's never going to be the case in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, it's Mr. Fitzgibbon again.
So here's the big question, Serge, is do I... The age-old question is, do you focus the minions so you can just focus on the boss, or do you focus the boss quick so you don't have to deal with the minions ever?
Oh man, this is not even a boss yet, but I guess the boss, to be honest. I think there's a chance that these minions will gonna keep spawning.
Oh, he's gonna do a thing.
Oh.
Oh no.
You should have enough to activate your thing.
Yeah, that's true. That's really cute.
That was easy.
The cheerleader chant. Yeah, this is really powerful. They've designed this move to sort of be like, you pop it and you can decimate everything.
Who put that on that zombie?
Fuck! I think that zombie seriously had dynamite strapped to it.
What?
Stay back! Get off!
Whoa, that was close.
That'll make the 5 o'clock news.
I feel like the art team probably had a lot of fun with this game, just making all these stickers and even just the environment art.
We need to break through that wall. Can you give me a hand?
Yeah, right. I don't have a hand
For sure, the UI people too.
But that spell I cast on you gives you some magical powers.
What?
Like maybe I can connect you to this zombie's body and you can temporarily use it.
Huh?
Oh, there you go. I was completely wrong about that, so you do get to use him.
Okay, cool. Oh, it's a minigame. Interesting.
Whoa. This feels weird.
Okay. That's kind of cute.
Nick, look. If I use this ticket, I can totally use your cool powers.
Whatever, dude.
How do I answer the phone?
I don't remember. But you got a Nick ticket though. Maybe you can buy a new outfit. So you can buy them as well.
Strength? That's pretty
Ooh,
good.
you can-
but do I need 3 to buy them?
No, you can just buy one.
Oh, okay. New moves. Like shake. A lot of new moves. Cool.
Sexy American casual. Surely we need that.
Okay, fine.
What should I get?
Concept art. I always like when games have this kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, surely you should buy a skill.
Yes. Let's get some skills. I don't have a... Actually.
Oh, do you
Well,
have...
no, actually, there's only one I can't afford here, so...
Armadillo Spin is the one I was talking about. That's a good one.
All right.
Nice.
XX square.
XX square.
Cool. How do I answer the phone?
More importantly, how do you change the costume?
Stash?
Juliet's stash?
I don't see any way I can interact with this thing.
Maybe it's on the main menu. Oh well.
We'll never know. Oh, the Nick Roulette. Ah.
Can you save that guy?
Oh, here we go. Push L.
Awesome!
You ready? You're so sexy, Nick.
His face. What the hell?
Oh, yeah. You shouldn't have done that now, though. Oh, here they come.
Yeah. I mean, the game told me to use it there, so that's pretty good, to be honest.
Yeah.
To stun everything around you is, you know, I was talking about how that's the goal.
Yeah.
Especially because, yeah, you got that. That's very No More Heroes, right? The combat feels like an evolution of No More Heroes. I mean, No More Heroes didn't have great combat either, but it was constantly mixing things up. I think to its benefit. You had all these mini games you could do, and you had this open world you could peruse around in. There was a lot more cutscenes. I think that stuff helped its case a little bit more. Whereas Lollipop Chainsaw is going to be judged more on its combat. Oh, you could just break stuff. Nice.
Where's my ammo? But great, those jerks trapped us in here.
Whoa. Oh, that is good.
Is that the one you bought?
Yeah, I think so. Because I haven't used it yet.
Is it square X or is it X?
Yeah.
This
XX
one, yeah.
square. That's nice.
Yeah, and if you you activate your special power and do that move, you'll just mow down all of a larger group of
bet.
zombies.
Thanks a
Is that a zombie cop?
What's the deal, dude?
Zombie cop. Fucking lame.
His name is Rue.
A zombie with a gun? No fair.
Oh. Okay. Mincemeated him. XX square. Done.
So bad.
This is like just like tagging graffiti in Jet Set Radio.
No!
Like listening to all these songs appear, I'm not surprised that the remake's not gonna have any of them. There's probably so many licensing issues that it's just a nightmare.
What's it gonna have though?
Well, they say they have a new soundtrack entirely. So
Yeah, I mean, I just hope the music's still. Oh, I'm dead.
yep.
Wow. I wasn't watching my health. I mean, yeah, I guess I just hope it's still memorable music. Be interesting if it was still licensed music, but maybe different licensed music. Similar kinds of songs, but
Awesome!
God, you're hot. You're so sexy, Nick. Nick toss. Totally. Let's go.
Oh, so it kills them as well.
yeah. Bust up more lockers.
Where's my ammo? But great, those jerks trapped us in here.
How lame.
Yeah!
It's almost like a joke how fast these you can tear through.
What's the deal, dude?
Oh, I lost all my meter. I was hoping I'd still have it for this guy.
But you just used it on that group.
Well, no, but I still had tons left.
Oh, right.
But then it was still, I think during the cutscene, it must have still been counting down, which is
Yeah.
pretty nasty.
What is he charging up there?
He charges his baton.
Oh.
Oh.
So can you restore your health just by eating lollipops when you want, or is it just when you pick them up?
Whenever you want.
Okay, maybe just eat one now.
No, I'm pretty much at full health this time.
Oh.
You know what? I won't worry about the money right now.
No!
So how do you need to deal with these enemies?
Well,
It
just
doesn't have a range attack.
don't explode. Can beat them up a bit, and then when they
Okay, run now.
Yeah. Wah! But I think I was pretty low health last time when I engaged with them.
Oh my god!
Ah, what the heck is this?
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Ah!
Now I lure them into this group.
Nice.
Surprised I didn't kill that girl, actually.
Those zombies totally pulled my underwear up my butt.
Digitized out of existence. Surprised they're still giving me all these tutorials.
I think for the sake of time, maybe you can ignore some of these guys and just keep on pushing forward. Hopefully we can get to the boss.
Look what those jerks did to our school!
Yeah, but it does get me out of my calculus homework. God! I'll be back for you! Uncool, asshole!
There you go.
Yeah, that armadillo's nice.
I mean, these zombies should be burning from the fire.
Yeah. So why can I only chainsaw through this door now?
Look, Ian, you're asking too many valid questions.
Stop!
who's putting all these explosives on people?
Yeah.
That's the dude who stranded us. And he's getting what he deserves.
But we can't just let them all die, Nick.
Or we could.
Yeah, I think I agree with Nick.
Oh, I screwed up again.
In here? Nope. Sweet rewards.
Watch me, Nick.
Well, it's the same button press every time. It's not much of a challenge.
Yeah, they should have different ones.
Yeah, of course. Why is she saying Arnold Schwarzenegger quotes?
Why not?
I need to find Morikawa-sensei. He'll know what to do.
Who's that?
Morikawa-sensei. He's my sensei.
A sensei? Like a teacher?
I didn't know you spoke Japanese, Nick.
Well, I
Osekoi, watashi mo Nihiko o hanashimasu.
I can't speak Japanese, Juliet. I just know that one word.
Aw, your simple innocence is one of the most attractive things about you.
Yeah.
You're like a kitten that doesn't speak Japanese.
Yeah, okay.
So this is that dialogue you were talking about. It's tricky, right? Dialogue like this. It's not like poor writing or anything.
I don't think it aged too badly either. It's not like this was the jokes of the 2010s, but I don't know. It's
Something about, maybe because it's a long hallway that you have to listen to this line. There's something about incidental dialogue in games, little lines like that happen outside of cutscenes, where they never seem to work super well when they try to be funny.
Well, there you go. This is
the boss fight?
Well, no, this is that basketball thing I was talking about.
Basketball? Why basketball? Just don't throw my head into the hoop.
Time to get to work.
I've got my super thing, but it actually takes a while to charge up, so kind of save it for the boss.
3 points.
So do you like cut their heads off when they fly? Yeah, they fly to the...
Yeah. That's cute. Again, it's just getting in the habit of stunning the enemies and then finishing them off with the chainsaw. So, how do I engage with the shop?
With the shop, though, you have to find those.
Well, there was
shop
just this thing on the bottom right.
Maybe it's just like some sort of reminder or something like that. So, does it want you to like score more than 100? That'll take a while.
I am on a time limit.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, the timer's ticking down. I could use my special. That's probably what I have to do.
But there's just not enough enemies to even...
Oh, that's not going to work, is it?
It kind of works.
Well, I can't do the armadillo because that just decimates them. I gotta stun groups. Oh, almost dead. I feel like I can't really tell when I'm low on health unless I'm looking. Oi! Tending. Come on. close.
If you kill them, if you kill them behind the thing,
I need 3 pointers is what I need.
yeah.
Then these guys are gonna.
No, I don't think you can do it.
No way.
Hopefully, it's not gonna be game over.
That would be be something. I got halfway there.
Yeah.
Sorry, the game's over. While you check out the enormous deadly explosion, we'll wrap up things in the booth. See ya.
What?
No way.
Oh my god.
Well, I think we can wrap it up here. I think I'm not sure. I don't remember when the boss. It might be a while. It's too bad because they are quite a spectacle. They it's a whole thing. They have phases. They have like intros. They this and that. But might be a while before you get there. Well, let's go back to the basketball thing. And I think we saw quite a bit of this game. There was quite a few things I didn't even remember that it had. So what do you think?
I think it's kind of what I expected, which is, a lot of style and the gameplay is serviceable. I do worry that there wouldn't be enough variety to keep me entertained for hours and hours, but I don't know. I suppose I could see myself continuing to play more and just see how far I get.
Yeah, it's hard to remember if it got, obviously I finished the game, but I don't quite remember if by the end of it I was like, wow, finally this is over, or I won more. I think I remember liking this game overall. So, and I will be checking out the remaster when it comes out. Hopefully that's some kind of new things. Obviously there won't be any new dialogue or anything like that, but even without that.
Now, are you the kind of person who you finish a game because you've got to finish the game, or do you not always feel compelled to finish games?
I tend to, if I'm like not sure about a game, I'll usually just find out as much as I can about it. But usually if I then sit down and play it, I kind of force myself to finish it. But I don't really play a lot of games that I hate so much that I just can't wait for it to end. So, and definitely this wasn't one of them. I actually enjoyed it. So,
okay.
Yeah.
And it might even be a case of like just the story and the spectacle was enough for you to want to make it to the end.
All right, that was Lollipop Chainsaw, soon to be remastered. Ian, let's talk about what we're going to be playing next time.
Yes. What do you got?
Okay. Kind of in a similar vein to Lollipop Chainsaw, because this game received, I think they called it the Deluxe or Definitive, and I think it's Definitive Edition, which is the one I will want you to play, and that will be Stronghold.
Life in the old castle. Happy times them were. The people were all so much friendlier. Oh, and how we feasted. And courted the fair maidens as well. There was work, of course, sharpening our minds. Making us strong. But mainly, I remember it as a happy time. Oh yes, and then there were the neighbors.
Stronghold. I don't know anything about this game.
Oh yeah, it's a really good game by Firefly Studios. Unfortunately, well, we'll talk about it next time, but in my opinion, a game that they made and then have been chasing that success ever since.
These are strategy games?
Yes, they are.
Okay, so yeah, something I don't have enough experience with.
Great.
There'll be a lot of new stuff for me to take in.
Nice.
And for you, Serge, I'm going to have you play what's the most modern game on the show, most recent game that we've done so far. Possibly one of the greatest platformers ever, which is Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze.
All right. High praise.
Yes.
All right. Never played that one.
Look forward to it.
Sweet. All right. With that, this will do for this show, for this episode, and we'll see you next time.
Perfect.